Hello, amazing lady. I am so excited that you are here. I want to welcome you to the 3 secrets to fixing your relationship without couples therapy training. Now, if you're currently dating and looking for love, this will also benefit you in attracting and keeping that dream relationship you so desire. So keep listening. These 3 secrets are the foundation of the happily ever after method, which is what I personally used and developed to get back to that honeymoon phase in my own relationship. And it's what I now support other women with. My name is Mireille. I go by Mireille Nicole online. And the truth is that my wedding with my current husband that you see on the screen there, almost didn't happen. About 6 years ago, my relationship was a total mess. And it felt like everything was falling apart. No more date nights, lots of ups and downs. My man was distancing himself a lot, and I wasn't getting what I needed from my relationship. It definitely wasn't what I had dreamed of as a little girl. I was scared and I was lost. Before I dive into how I turned all of this around and co-created the most loving and intimate relationship, I'm going to offer this results disclaimer to you. You're not going to feel perfect, communicate better, and resolve every conflict in just one day. And you know what? That's okay. It's a beautiful and totally gratifying journey to a stronger bond as a couple. At the beginning, when my relationship hit rock bottom, honestly, I just wanted to feel not so angry all the time, not so full of resentment and scared about the future of our relationship. I never thought back then that I would get to the space that we are at today, or even more so, that I would be helping women who are struggling in their own relationship or love lives across the world online about how to do what I did. I wasn't in a space where I was thinking I would feel so confident in love, so magnetic and charismatic to my husband, and like the real authentic me, or so powerful in communicating and expressing my needs without fear or hesitations or walking on eggshells. Can you relate to the walking on eggshells? I remember those days clearly. Or that it would become so much easier to navigate and resolve conflict with my husband. These things were just so off my radar. And I'm sure for many of you, you probably feel the same way. That every single day you're just trying to not get into a fight with your husband or your man. You're just wishing you could express yourself and what you need, and that your man would take it seriously. That you would feel more love and attraction again, or that your relationship would stop slipping through your fingers. And if that's you, I see you and I understand you. I want to introduce you to Mireille. When Mireille first came to me, the main struggle she identified in her marriage was a lack of physical intimacy. Her husband was rarely in the mood, while she was ready to jump him any day. She clearly felt sad, rejected, and at a loss for what to do. He always got anxious and clammed up when the topic was brought up. He found other ways to satisfy his needs. We won't go into details there. And Mireille couldn't help but wonder, like, WTF, what was wrong with me, right? In working together, she realized that what she was really desiring was more open communication with him. And she also wanted a more deeper emotional, mental connection. So we started working on one of the pillars of the happily ever after method, feminine energy. And she immediately recognized being very much in her masculine. So the first thing we did was work on her communication with her man. And I gave her a precise approach and specific wording to use to start breaking down those walls that he had up. So she learned how to say less to get more, and how to plant seeds that led her husband to become the one initiating the difficult conversations. And finally, I gave her some hot tips on how to get more affection. And at her first check-in, she was so happy to report that she was able to successfully implement the new skills, and she was listening to him without trying to pull teeth for more info like she used to do. And her man was already showing signs of being more relaxed. By her second coaching call, she was elated to report her husband was the one to start a 2-hour-long heart-to-heart with her. And he was being more affectionate during the week. And she even noticed her cravings for physical intimacy were actually toning down, right? Marie was starting to feel fulfilled on so many more levels now. And her man even asked her what he could do to support her, which was totally unprompted. And that was like the first time in 13 years together where he did something like that. I want to tell you, you're in the right place now. If you've been married a while or you're newly married and there are a few areas you'd like to work on in your relationship. This is where I'm at now and will continue to be, because there's always work to do in love. There's always going to be a new challenge or a life event that comes your way as a couple. You're also in the right place if you guys are really struggling as a couple, but you can't convince your husband to go to couples therapy, or you've been there, done that, but it hasn't worked. And I can totally relate to that. You're in the right place if you're in a relationship and you're struggling. This was me a few years ago. I felt like I had hit rock bottom and I just couldn't see the way out. You're also in the right place if things are good in your relationship, but you're looking for that next level of commitment. Maybe you guys have been dating a long time. Your proposal is dragging out. The happily ever after method not only helped me get the spark back in our relationship, but has also got me the proposal and the I do. You're in the right place if dating feels like a nightmare. I wish I had known all of this while I was dating. I joke that I would probably have been married at the age of 18 and like have 10 kids by now, and probably grandkids too. You're also in the right place if you keep finding yourself in a pattern of attracting emotionally unavailable or narcissistic men. What if I told you you could start seeing improvements in your relationship in as little as 2 weeks? It's happened for many of the women in my world. So what I'm about to teach you works, and changes can happen quickly. I also experienced this myself. Does this look familiar? Do you recognize yourself in this photo? Maybe the date nights are rare. Your man is closed off. He doesn't communicate much or share his feelings openly. When you do try to talk, he gets defensive or sarcastic. Arguments spiral out of control or they never get resolved. There's maybe even name calling. You eventually get the silent treatment. You're not getting the help or the support you need in your relationship, and he won't step up. He's not manning up. You want to be more physically intimate, but he's distant. And it's starting to feel like more of a roommate situation. All that spark, fun, and excitement from the beginning of the relationship is pretty much gone. Maybe you guys have kids now, so it's a lot more difficult, right? Or maybe all the men you meet online only want you for one reason. They start off strong, love bombing you, and then they ghost you. They won't commit you, and they string you along with breadcrumbs. So I'm here to share with you my unique and proven happily ever after method and why it's the most powerful decision you can make for your relationship or love life today. Women have told me it was the missing piece in their attempts to make their marriage or relationship amazing again. This is the missing puzzle piece you need to help you turn around and go from being with a distant or distracted partner, maybe feeling insecure, being in a boring or dull relationship, having bad communication, constantly arguing, feeling unloved, unheard, or no spark anymore, or past that honeymoon phase, right? To feeling cherished and confident, having an adventurous and fun relationship again, experiencing lots of romance, seeing your man become emotionally available to you, communicative, supportive again, right? Having that happily ever after or that fairy tale ending that you dreamed of. And doing this, right, without endless therapy sessions or having to read another pile of relationship self-help books or watching hours and hours of YouTube videos and just wondering why it's not working. Plus, when you make this the focus and priority, it's going to save you your happiness and emotional well-being that you're probably missing out on right now, right? You also get that dream you had growing up as a little girl of your Prince Charming. He steps up and mans up. It will save you from settling in life for less than you deserve, because we know you deserve more than this. You deserve more than what's happening in your marriage, in your relationship, or in your love life right now in this moment. All right. And of course, it saves you the ultimate cost of heartbreak, of cheating, of divorce. And if you look online, the average cost of divorce in the US and Canada is about 15,000 to 20,000, right? And think of the heartbreak. You also get to be an amazing role model for your current or your future children. My goal for our time together today is to show you why you do not need endless couples therapy, to read every relationship book out there and watch hours more of free YouTube videos on love, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work for you. All of these things we invest so much time and money in will not get you as far as the foundational relationship skills and accountability you get from the happily ever after method, right? This is the only way to do this efficiently and effectively by applying these 3 secrets I am going to share with you very soon. So I'm going to go super fast here, all right, because I know you don't want to hear about me, but who am I, right? So I am a relationship coach for women. I am an active member of the IAPO, International Association of Professional Relationship Coaches. But most importantly, I'm a wife, a mother, a stepmother, and a guinea pig for all of the relationship skills I teach as part of my happily ever after method. So I know firsthand it works. This is why I'm so passionate about what I do. I earned the right to talk about this through my own journey of success in love with my coaching certificate and all the results I've gotten so far for my clients. What got me here? Well, my husband and I started off with the most romantic love story. I love our love story, right? Most people still don't believe it. It just doesn't even make logical sense. And this is why I believe actually anything is possible in love. I went from divorced with a 3-year-old son to being with my dream man. And it was an unbelievable love tale of all odds against us. But the stars somehow aligned. However, a few years in, we found ourselves struggling as a couple. We hadn't fully healed from past traumas. We still had baggage from previous relationships. And most importantly, we simply didn't have the tools or the skills to get through it. So eventually we hit rock bottom and I began feeling full of resentment. We couldn't even go through one full day as a couple without some sort of passive aggressive comment or argument, and me feeling like it was hopeless. So I've been through the ringer, so you don't have to. My deepest desire at the time was to bring that honeymoon phase back to my relationship and keep it. We had started off so strong, and I knew the spark was still there, and I wanted the spark to burn again. I wanted to get off of that roller coaster and not have so many ups and downs. And I wanted to stop worrying about if we were going to have a good day or bad day, or if we were even going to make it at all. I was sick of and tired of walking on those eggshells, not knowing if I was going to say something that would trigger him, make him defensive or sarcastic, or make him distance himself with work and friends, which was something he was doing a lot of back then, right? When things weren't going so well. I wanted to stop feeling so resentful of everything that had happened in the past. I wanted to let go, but I didn't know how. I wanted to stop being angry for not feeling validated or heard or cherished. And I didn't want to feel alone anymore. I wasn't comfortable talking to friends and family about this in detail. It's deeply personal stuff. And I was ashamed and I didn't want to get judged. Everyone else was posting all these Pinterest perfect photos on social media, right? So I didn't even think they understood my situation. I'm sure you can imagine this, or you're living some or all of this yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. On my journey, I found that there were a lot of roadblocks. But probably the biggest is that my man did not want to go to couples therapy. This was really discouraging for me because it seems like that's the thing to do when there's trouble in your relationship. That's all I heard other people talk about. It's like couples therapy or it's like a breakup or divorce. So this really made me feel hopeless. And sometimes also individual therapy isn't enough. It's great to work on yourself, but let's face it, you're in a relationship. It's not just about you. And I found there was a real lack of real-time support in both types of therapy, right? Usually you have to wait a whole week in between calls. What happens 2 days after the call when you're feeling stuck or you have a question? The biggest aha moment I had throughout my whole experience is that I held the key to transforming my love life. In a way, it became irrelevant what my man did or did not do, how much work he did on himself, whether or not he went to therapy or healed his traumas. I myself had to go through a huge transformation. It changed my love life and it changed my life as a whole, too. To give you an idea of what my journey looked like and how quickly a relationship can change, this was my timeline. Our first 3 years together were quite magical. We had a whirlwind romance. It was fast, it was intense, and things were generally great. Although now, looking back, I can totally see my role in how we got to years 4 to 6. This is when our relationship started going sideways. There were a lot of ups and downs, and the ups were becoming much fewer and shorter. About year 7 is when I made the bold decision to take charge of what was going on in my love life. Once I started doing the work, applying the 3 secrets and the pillars of the happily ever after method, within several weeks, I started seeing major shifts with my husband, my man at that point. So in our case, we weren't married then yet, and there were no plans to. Okay. But from doing the work, he actually proposed, and we were married 6 months later. Heading into a decade now, I can confidently say we are back to the honeymoon phase. And actually, it's an even better honeymoon phase at this point because we have the satisfaction of knowing what we overcame, and we have the tools that make us confident in knowing that we can overcome anything else that should come our way in the future. I learned the hard way about love, and I want to help you avoid this or move through it much faster than I did. I let my relationship go downhill for a long time before I realized it was up to me to change. I got support, but I still had tons of research and experimentation to do to get the results that I got. Hey, if you're struggling, I want you to know it's not your fault. We're usually not taught communication or relationship skills growing up. Most of us don't have role models demonstrating a healthy relationship. Maybe you only got well-meaning advice from friends and family. Or maybe your social media feeds, they're full of misleading quotes and memes. I totally get it. I just first want to say it's great to do all or some of this that you see on the screen right now, okay? But doing only this is actually considered the hard way, which is what I did because I didn't know there was a better way and no one had reached out to me. No one had told me about it. So what is the hard way? Well, first, it's waiting for your man to change or trying to change him, giving it time, thinking maybe it's a phase in your relationship or some unusual circumstance that'll just go away. It's also trying to do it all alone. Doing your own research is awesome. I did a lot of it, but it's super time consuming. Plus, usually the problem is not a lack of knowledge. And also, finally, not getting the right support. Maybe you're getting some support, but it's not specific enough to relationships, or it's not enough support for where you're at on your journey. The hard way is hoping it will get better, but often it doesn't. It just makes it worse. I waited to hit rock bottom, but you don't have to. And I want you to know that if I can do this, so can you. I'm going to tell you the strategy to make your marriage or relationship without couples therapy, make it better, and how to apply this in just a few months for quick results so that you can start seeing the changes in your relationship. Or you can start applying these skills to your love life to attract and keep that dream man of yours. So here are the 3 secrets of the happily ever after method. Number 1, having confidence and charisma. This is all about how to totally be in your power in your relationship and be super magnetic to your man without compromising who you are so that you can feel loved and cherished and in integrity with yourself. Secret number 2 is becoming a powerful communicator. This is about how to express your desires and get your needs met without asking a million times or nagging him so that you can feel heard, validated, and supported. And secret number 3 is mastering conflict resolution. How to fight better with your husband or man without it spiraling out of control, without name calling, the silent treatment, yelling, so that you can actually grow closer as a couple and bond further. Now, why am I sharing this? So my goal is to get as many vow renewal and wedding invitations as humanly possible. Don't worry, I won't necessarily attend. I know how expensive weddings can be and the guest list and all that complicated stuff, right? But my dream is to help you get your relationship back to a place where you guys want to tie the knot all over again and make it even better next time, right? Or this time around. So let's dive deeper into these secrets. Secret number 1. This is all about what I had to do for myself before anything could get better in my relationship. The truth is, this was hard. I didn't want to admit that I had a huge role to play in what was going on in my relationship. I had to change first. I had to spend thousands of dollars, so much of my time, tears, energy into learning about how to find myself again, how to set standards and boundaries with myself, how to build my confidence and discipline, how to show up as the amazing and magnetic woman I knew deep down inside that I was. It was a huge blow to my ego, but it transformed my love life. I also, at this point, had to get clear on what it is I desired in my love life. And my favorite part of this, all right, was getting to understand men, right? You can understand men. They're not that much of a mystery. So meet Sophie. When my client Sophie came to me, the main struggle she identified was meeting a decent guy who wanted her for more than just one thing. If you're married or in a relationship, keep listening because this also applies to you. She was on the dating scene and had started seeing someone, okay, but quickly noticed red flags. Sophie had been married before in the past, right? And she did not want to repeat any destructive pattern from back then. And I can totally relate to that, to the whole second chance at love thing. So we jumped right in and started working on the relationship skills, but it became obvious pretty quickly that what Sophie needed was more focus on self-love and navigating difficult emotions. So this guy is still in the picture, but has taken a bit more of a backseat for now. In the meantime, we're getting her into goddess mode in all areas of her life: nutrition, fitness, family dynamics, etc. All with a slant, though, towards being in her happily ever after. After the first 3 weeks we worked together, she already experienced fewer negative thoughts, less binge eating, massive self-awareness. And we're still deep in the trenches right now, but I'm so excited for what's coming to her on the other side. Secret number 2 is all about becoming a master of the spoken word. Communication issues in relationships is often one of the main complaints. And the misconception is that we have to communicate more for a better marriage. But the truth is, you usually need to communicate better. And just a side note here, usually you have to talk less. The first step is actually listening more. And then also becoming a lot softer in your approach and learning to ask for what you desire in the way that actually motivates the man to go do it. Meet Lauren. When my client Lauren came to me, the main struggle she identified was that her relationship had gone from an amazing first start, right? An amazing love story at the beginning to extremely difficult practically overnight. She started dating this guy and things moved fast, but after a stressful weekend, he started to noticeably pull away. Again, if you're married, listen, keep listening. This applies to you also. This triggered old wounds in Lauren, and I could tell she was resorting to masculine energy to try to fix things. In the process, she also started to lose her power and confidence. She reached out to him often. She tried to save him from his own issues, and she did a lot of talking. And I can totally relate to this, and you might too. We started working on bringing her back into her feminine energy and learning how men like to be communicated to. And after applying some of these more difficult communication skills, the romance got better for a while, and he even wrote her the exact words she needed to hear. So now Lauren is currently giving him space. However, she's just as committed to her happily ever after. She realizes she has more work to do on herself, but she also recognizes how far she's come. And other men are now entering her world already, of course, because she's a goddess, right? But she also has more clarity on what she needs to do first now. She's already feeling more confident and empowered in her communications with these potential suitors. And I'm so excited for what's yet to come for her. So secret number 3. Secret number 3 is all about learning the art of the argument. It's been said that 65% of arguments are unresolvable. So you're going to want to learn how to navigate these. And also 96% of the time, you can predict the outcome of an argument within the first 3 minutes of a 15-minute exchange. So common reasons for arguing include, money, physical intimacy, parenting, household chores, and personal values. Right? You might be experiencing conflict around some or many of these or all of these even. I know these were all big struggles in my relationship, most of them anyways. So I want you to know that the way to fight better is through your mindset. It's learning to avoid, stop, and how to end an argument. Because there's a lot of growth actually and satisfaction to be gained from arguing. I'm sure you can probably think of a couple that argues all the time, but is madly in love. And maybe you've even seen couples who never fight, and then suddenly they split up out of the blue. Meet Jillian. When my client Jillian came to me, the main challenge she struggled with in her relationship was arguments with her husband. They happened frequently out of the blue, and they would just spiral. They would just spiral out of control. She always felt like she was walking on eggshells, and she couldn't figure out her man's triggers. Her dream was to be in a relationship built on kindness, compassion, more softness, ease and flow, right? But she wasn't experiencing this right now. It was conflict. So when we started working together, we started really dissecting these heated arguments. And I shared with Jillian effective and research-backed tools to manage these conflicts. Within 5 weeks, even though they still argued, because 65% of conflict is unresolvable, right? She noticed her man starting to apologize more, start turning towards her after arguments, and show her the understanding and softness she desired. And this is only the beginning. Why did I create the Happily Ever After method? I remember feeling like I had tried everything to save my relationship. I remember feeling alone and like everyone else had love figured out but me. I wish someone would have reached out to me to guide me through it faster and easier. I wish someone would have put together something that taught me everything I needed to know and was there when I needed them. I created this method for me 6 years ago, and for the legacy passed down to other generations. And of course, for you. This is the missing puzzle piece for transforming your love life. I am here to support you for 12 weeks with customized calls so you're clear on what you need to do next in your relationship. You have private access to me in messages 24/7. So you can get guidance in real time and you don't have to wait a week to talk to me next, right? When you're struggling, we can address issues right away. You get lifetime access to over 20 pre-recorded training videos and worksheets on a variety of love-related topics. You also get to join a Facebook group for community so you know you're not alone and you can choose to interact with other women facing similar challenges. Imagine what it would be like to have this level of support. How useful would that be for you? To have a bestie by your side that knows exactly what you're going through and how to come out stronger on the other side. Stephanie is one of the first women to join the first round of Happily Ever After boot camp and use the method and apply it in her own marriage. She was struggling in her relationship with communication, getting her needs met, and her husband would bury himself in his work. They have a beautiful daughter together, and date nights were getting harder to come by. After having tried all the things, Stephanie joined us to learn the Happily Ever After method. Within a month, she saw the positive effect of her changes on her partner and was so grateful to discover this information. Here are all the things you'll be able to avoid with the Happily Ever After method. Number one, couples therapy. Although that's great, a lot of my clients still do couples therapy or individual therapy as an adjunct. Reading more books, watching tons of videos, getting advice from friends and family. And it'll just take out all the guesswork for you, that extra frustration and wasting a lot of time. I consolidated the most effective relationship strategies from all the popular books, experts, and research into one comprehensive offer that guides you through a faster and simpler love fixing process rather than reading, consulting, and researching it all yourself. Let's talk numbers now. If you were to go to therapy, it would cost you anywhere from, for 12 weeks, right? It would cost you anywhere from $1,800 to $3,600 for that 12 weeks of support. And this is usually for insurance covered services if you're in the States. Specialized therapy services can even be more than that. Listen, I've been divorced for many years now, and I could tell you it's still costing me thousands of dollars, all right? So let me ask you this. What is it worth to you to be in the marriage or relationship you always dreamed of? What is it worth to you to have joint income together? Shared expenses? What is it worth to you to be able to continue seeing your child or your children 100% of the time? What is it worth keeping your forever house that you currently have with your husband and your family? What is it worth to you continuing to have the cars, the boats, the investments, and all the things? What price tag will you put on that? Who does this work for? Who does the Happily Ever After method work for? It works for women who feel like they've tried it all, women who won't settle and who go for it in life, the ambitious type A's, right? Women who are committed and also flexible, and also women who value love and partnership. If we start working together today, you are also going to get a complimentary emotional release session with me, where we remove some of those negative thoughts and beliefs that are really holding you back in being happy and fulfilled in your love life. You also get a copy of the powerful book, Communication Miracles for Couples. Don't worry, it's a super quick and easy read. So I appreciate you so much for watching this, and congrats on taking the first step towards fixing your relationship or your love life. If anything I shared with you today resonates with you, then I would like to personally invite you to jump on a quick call with me so we can better understand your situation. And I'll give you some clarity on what you need to do next to improve your love life. We can also see if we'd be a good fit to work together. So I hope to chat with you soon.